So the topic given to me is to talk about digital transformation now and tomorrow, right? So before I go there, right, little bit, let me tell about myself and well, it was told about myself, but more about my organization, right? I'm sure all of you are aware of Vedanta, but what exactly COE is at Vedanta, right? So if you really see, these are the six broader functions under COE, right? A digital, which is very focused on top line and bottom line improvement, asset optimization, making sure we have a great practices and both availability and utilization is focused a lot. Quality, we want to bring the quality DNA for everyone, from employees to uh, anyone in the organization, right? R&D is like the concept on the waste to wealth. I think there is a huge focus on that. And in innovation, we want to get the best of the brains, whether inside or outside, but help with this entire transformation. And finally, IT and security, we want to get one Vedanta experience, optimize the entire ecosystem, and finally makes ourselves very, very secure. If you really want to connect it back to the entire value chain, I think this is how all the six function will look like, right? Where from supplier to raw material to mining to processing and smelting, which you can call manufacturing, power plant, logistics, finished good, and customers. This is the entire value chain. Different teams under my function really works on. Now, coming to the topic, right? So, all of us went through this pandemic, right? And the big question, and here we are to understand why this is important and how successful change management with technology can help, right? So in entire next 15 minutes or so, I will talk about why and how. I'm sure all of you are aware, but this is very, very prospective from my side, right? For me, if I have to take two learning out of it, right? I think we realize the value of e-commerce much more than what it used to be, right? And the supply chain, because that was the biggest disruption. I still remember end of March in 2020, and we were all trying to figure out, okay, what will happen if we don't have like enough food at home, right? And this is a worry for everyone, right? And slowly we realized how powerful e-commerce is. While pandemic was on, we still got a lot of material, and it really got a kick. But for manufacturing sector, right, in general, what I feel is these are the two biggest realization: how to make process touchless and how to do automation. I'll touch upon both of them. When I talk about touchless, right, I usually talk about making sure that if there is no value addition by a human to a process, right? I have this phrase of AI and BI, right? Where AI everyone understands, right? So if an AI can help it out, or a simple digitization, making sure the process is well connected, right? Why human should be involved? Human should be involved when there is a BI needed. That is more of a biological intelligence and really help. So making process touchless not only removes dependency on human, the bigger important thing, those human can work on a better and a sharper thing. On automation, right? If what I strongly feel is, let's assume we have a best of our employee doing the same job again and again with the same efficiency. That is possible with automation. Automation makes sure that while there is no human doing it, but the best possible way it is done again and again. So these are the two important things which I felt pandemic brought, especially to the manufacturing sector. And in terms of, if I have to really blow it out on technologies, the way we call it today, right? It gave realization of different technology, right? From AI, ML, cloud, right? To IoT, to AR, VR, right? All the industry 4.0 technologies, right? It brought in confidence, or it brought in focus on that, right? And it created a confidence. And if you see the last two bottom line, which I've written here, right? It created the confidence and enabled spend on technologies. Well, I'll tell you, before pandemic, somebody had a long discussion with a CFO why it is needed. Maybe after pandemic or during the time of pandemic, maybe those people would be chasing down all the CIOs and CDOs of the world. Why are you not spending, and why? What is the benefit business can really, or the those teams can really bring back to business, right? So actually, I feel if I have to see a pre-era pandemic and a post-era pandemic, right? Pre-era pandemic, digital transformation was a buzzword. Post-era pandemic, it has become part of the core business of uh, any of the business, right? If I have to call it a line function, if you have to see like that, right? This is one slide. I flash it out in case people wonder between different phrases and terms people use. I will quickly bounce upon all three terms which you will hear many times from many different people. Digitization is the bottom. I'm starting from bottom and going up. Digitization is a foundation, right? It is if I really call it making paperless, if it is something on a logbook, if it was on pictures and all that, we are converting in a digital way so that somebody can quickly understand. If you have the data, you can analyze and you can do stuff on that. Next is the digitalization side of it, right? It is all about bottom line, bottom line impact, and it's all about saving money, right? It is making sure how you use the data from different formats and really help either improve, optimize cost, improve efficiency, or increase asset availability or quality, improve the quality side of it, or improve safety. So a lot of utilization focus at top one, right? Digital transformation is all about top line. How can you make more money or earn more money? And you'll see in the subsequent slide also a little bit uh, of that, but in a very simple sense, right? And a lot of people definitely get confused. Does digital transformation means that only you have to use technology? Actually, it's not just using technology. It's most important thing. You should start looking at people, then process, and then technology. Are we having the right people to do the job? Are we are those people upskilled and cross skilled to really take up those things? On the process side, right, before even applying a technology, look at the processes which were applied before and what is the thing which can be improved. Maybe some processes were set up 10, 15 years back, and maybe it is time for all of us to look back at that and see, can it be done in a better approach? And you'll realize sometimes just by making process change, it really brings back efficiency to the business. So I have seen that a lot. So that's another tool, and technology is the final third tool which can be leveraged, right? On the right side, if you see, these are the different building blocks, the bottom side of it, right? On the people side, upskilling, adoption, hiring, restructuring. On Similarly on the process side, right? Design thinking, lean, fail fast. Fail fast is one of my favorite topic. Don't sit on projects, right? If there is a business requirement, understand the requirement, try to see how quickly that can be resolved, right? And if it can be resolved quickly, don't sit on it for long, right? Do a small POC, if maybe a week time of POC, maybe less than that. And if it works, just scale it up, right? And then make it across as part of the company. Different technology, all of you guys are expert on that, but the bottom part is the most important thing. If you really have to see, right, it should be all about increasing throughput and sales, right? So whether you're talking about digital transformation or digitalization, right, it is very important that you focus what is the business value we are creating. Is it optimizing? Are you bringing down the cost, right? Or are you improving the bottom line? That's the important thing, right? Asset availability. If the assets are available more, they can function more and they can produce more for us. So I think this is a big focus every one of us should have. A reduced defect. Defect is a big problem, right? If we don't realize sometime, we feel okay, maybe 1 or 2% of defect, okay, it's always there in the process. But let's assume if these defects are not there, you're able to sell to 1 or 2% more, right? It is directly going to help impact the business. Secure workplace. I feel safety is the most important thing, and every one of us should focus on that. And it has got tremendous and unlimited value how it can impact the business. what I have done is I have put down the entire, like, what are the critical things to success of a organization on the digital journey, right? So these are the 8 different focus area, which is very, very critical to this digital transformation. First is core digital team. It's all about whether we are having right team, right management in place, the way we call it in Vedanta, MIP. Do we have the right people, right? Do we have a process to capture the ideas or understand the problem, right? I call it more of an ideation, right? Hackathon and explorathon, right? If you know the problem and try to get 10 different brains to solve the same problem, that's hackathon. And explorathon is more about you get different partners and vendors, and they come to us and tell us what they can do more for us, right? That's another approach people have followed, right? I will go to the left side first. Culture transformation. It's a very, very important thing that you continuously build the knowledge and understanding of individual employees, partners, everyone, what exactly a digital is and how it can really impact. So sending digital nuggets, having a digital day, which is very focused on that, or joining or sending people to symposium happening at different companies, right? Or having a digital training process inside. These are the things which is of huge benefit on the cultural transformation now side. While we do these small digital projects at one site, let's assume our if your company is quite spread across, so once a solution is applied at one business, right, try to horizontally deploy it, try to reuse the code, right? This is another important thing, because that way two things happen. Something which is proven inside the organization, you try to scale it up. Second thing, you are not trying to spend time on like reusing the same. If you reuse the code, right, that's a great tool I see. Value and outcome mindset. This is the most important thing in digital, if I really see that, right? If we don't have that mindset, right, that it will impact the volume or a cost of the business, or really make the ease of doing business, if the ROI mindset is not there, none of the program will be successful. No one will care about whatever we do, right? Now, the last bottom two things, right? A good review cadence, right? Whether it's a monthly or a weekly, or and also have a governance team to make sure that the things are going as processed the way SOP was defined versus the right one, right? Adoption and sustenance. Whenever we roll out anything, right, whether it can be adopted and sustained is the most important thing. I feel design thinking is a great tool to make sure we understand the problem much ahead and really solve the problem rather than. So generally what happens, people jump on solution before even understanding the problem well. So these are the important things. You understand for whom you are creating the solution, whether it is adoptable and sustainable. If not, what is the way it can be done. So there is a lot of things. So if I see that these are the 8 important things, if people can focus on, it will definitely give any one of us a result. uh, so this is my closing slide, and this is the my favorite way of telling people, right, and to my employees, my peers, my friends, that technology is there to enable business. Businesses are not there to adopt to technology, because a lot of people feel, right, especially techie like us, right, who feels that, okay, I have come with this great technology and business needs to adopt that, right? That is the way the business should run. But that's not the way of life for all of us, right? The truth is we are there to solve a business problem. So first we need to understand the business problem, and then look at, does it really need a technology? Sometimes a process change may help, right? So or just upskilling or cross skilling of employee can help, right? So understand that this is very, very important. Whatever role you play, remember that technology is there to enable business, and businesses are not there to adopt technologies. So that's all from my side. Lovely talking to all of you and interacting with all of you.
Thank you so much, Vineet, for your presentation. What you spoke of is plain logic that, find the problem, find the way to figure out a problem, and don't look at technology first and then say, oh, this is going to suit my problem. But Vineet, could you run us through the steps? Because problems are many. And in many organizations, whether they're large or they're small, more so in the larger organizations, they work in silos. So if they, problem in one particular department can affect the working of another department. So you're trying to fix the problem in one department, but that doesn't necessarily mean the problem or the other department also be fixed. So how do you first, diagnose what to do, and then also figure out how a solution there affects others? So what is the step by step way of doing this?
Great question. And those 8 things which I really put there, but I was alluding to that. But let me throw, if I'm given a job right today as a someone who is responsible for digital transformation in an organization, the way I would approach is I would create this as a supporting function, right? An ecosystem where anyone can come with a problem and get a help, right? So when I say that, right, this is only an enabling function. This is not a team which should be seen, okay, these are the great guys and they solve all the problem. Rather, the problem should be discussed, right? Most important thing is that has to be captured, right? So to create a PMO office, starting of itself is the most important thing. A project management office which knows the entire pipeline or the backlog of issues or the problem which has been reported across the company. So this will help your question, right? How one department can know from other, right? This is the
Hmm.
way generally I would do that, right? List all the problems together, put it in a very simple language, something which is very accessible to everyone, right? Before they jump on trying to do a solution, they look at that particular database, if I really call that database for lack of a better word, right? Look at that and then see whether it makes sense to pick one of them, because horizontal deployment is one of the most powerful tool. If something has been done in one company, I
Hmm.
am sure 99% it should work in another part of the same company, right? There may be chances, right? If they are in different business line, it may happen that it may not work, but 99% it should work, right? But before scaling it, make sure success of that, right? Whether that is adaptable, that is sustainable, right? So answering to your question, the way I would approach, set up an office which captures all these data, all these information, put at one repository, right?
Hmm.
Best practices are shared. There are focused individual who is helping the business CEOs to really not only make sure that it is horizontally deployed or reused across the company, but
Hmm.
also continuously provide the help from outside in case there is a better way to solve a problem. Try to go outside and get those information. That's the
Right.
approach I take.
Right. So, Vineet, you said that, ensure success in your small subset before you put it out and scale. Any tips on how you do that? Does monitoring play an important role? Does training play an important role? Any tips on how you ensure success at a smaller
every
level?
every everything plays an important role, right? Those small things, training, the way anyone should do it is put it there, make sure upskill and cross, understand the business, right? What kind of people we have. If somebody like me, right, 22 decades old, right, my motivation level may be different versus somebody who has joined fresh out of college. So understanding the motivation level, designing the program very much aligned to that. And I will tell you, the young kids may not even need so much of training, right? They
Hmm.
may already be ready for it. So identifying the right resources, uh, uh, and making sure you put it in the right job, which is whatever is the motivation for them, would be the best way, right? This is not a, it's a very simple brain, right? Figuring out right people for the right job is the most important thing in this.
What about the old hands? Because you got to
Old
take them
hands,
along as well, right?
yeah, old hands like me, there are only two options, right? One option, either we learn it, understand it, try to focus a lot on, try to see how the impact is. Otherwise, we will be thrown out, right? I remember that book, What Got Us Here Will Not Take Us There, right? Something like that, right? So we all need to understand, right? Any company would have reached to a certain level, right? But same strategy will not work going forward, right? So this applies same back to humans also, right?
Hmm.
When we started our career, our brain might be focused on something on the depth side of it, right? Maybe later part of it requires breadth side of it. It all depends on your roles and responsibility, but definitely every one of us needs to keep learning and understanding what's happening in the world and trying to apply back in the job. There is no ready answer in this world currently, right? That for this particular problem in this particular business, this is what you pick, and there is no making a match out of it, right?
Okay, copy
Rather,
paste.
yeah. So rather, you need to really just pick it, pick the problem. Most probably, I have seen most of the interesting answers or solution coming from different industry. I have done that a lot. I myself moved to a core manufacturing, metal and mining space from a different space. I will tell you, I get a lot of ideas from healthcare. I get many ideas from aviation, right? So different sectors have given me a lot of different ideas, and I'm sure I have talked to so many peers and a lot of people across, a lot of young kids, right? Another good way to really do this is sit with few startups, right? Get along and talk on the weekend to them, right? You will get a lot of knowledge. I think that's the way people like me can learn a little bit.
Thank you so much, Vineet, for joining us. You've been so candid in your answers, and I'm sure everybody's picked up very workable, real, and exclusive tips on how to go about digitization if you are feeling that you're stuck in a hard place. Thank you so much, Vineet, for joining us and sharing with us your knowledge, your the information that you have, and all the tips that you shared. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Anisha. Have a great one. Cheers.